Welcome you all. In this class, we'll discuss about various stock indices. A stock index or stock market index is an index that measures a stock market or a subset of the stock market that help the investors compare the current price level with past price to calculate the market performance. It is computed from the price of selected stocks, typically a weighted arithmetic mean. That is, a stock index or stock market index is an index that measures stock market or a subset of the stock market. That is, it is an index that measures the stock market or subset of the stock market. It helps the investors to compare the current price level with the past price level to calculate the market performance. That is, the stock indexes enables the investors to compare the current price level with the past price level, and the investor can make decision about the market performance of that particular stock market. Some of the important international stock markets are given here. First one, the Nasdaq stock market, also known as Nasdaq or Nasdaq, is an American stock exchange at One Liberty Plaza in New York City. It is ranked second on the list of stock exchange by market capitalization of shares traded behind the New York Stock Exchange. The exchange platform is owned by Nasdaq, which also owns the Nasdaq Nordic Stock Market Network and several US stock and option exchange. Nasdaq was initially an acronym for the National Association of Security Dealers Automated Quotation, and it was founded in 1971 by the National Association of Security Dealers, now known as Financial Industry Regulation Authority. On February 8, 1971, Nasdaq stock market began operation as the world's first electronic stock market. This is the world's first electronic stock market, established on 1971, and on February 8, 1971, Nasdaq stock market began operation as world's first electronic stock market. At first, it was merely a quotation system and didn't provide a way to perform electronic trades. Its main index is the Nasdaq Composite, which has been published since it. Nasdaq Composite is the index of Nasdaq, and QQ Exchange Traded Fund tracks the large cap Nasdaq 100 index, which was introduced in 1985 alongside the Nasdaq's Financial 100 index. Nasdaq 100 index and Nasdaq Financial 100 index, which tracks the largest 100 companies in terms of the market capitalization. In 1992, Nasdaq stock market joined with the London Stock Exchange market to form the first intercontinental linkage of the capital market. That is, in 1992, Nasdaq stock market joined with the London Stock Exchange. In 2000, the National Association of Security Dealers spun off the Nasdaq stock market to form a public limited company. In 2006, the status of Nasdaq stock market was changed from a stock market to a licensed national security exchange. This about the Nasdaq. It is the stock exchange of America. Second one is Nikkei. Nikkei or Nikkei 224. Nikkei stock average. Nikkei are more commonly called as Nikkei, or the Nikkei index is a stock market index for the Tokyo Stock Exchange. This is the stock market index for the Tokyo Stock Exchange. It has been calculated daily by the Nihon Keizai Shimbun newspaper since 1950. It is a price-weighted index operating in the Japanese yen. Its components are reviewed once a year. Nikkei measures the performance of 225 large publicly owned companies in Japan from a wide array of industrial sectors. Nikkei 225 began to be calculated on 7 September 1950, 70 years ago, retroactively calculated back to 16th May 1959. Since January 2010, the index is updated every 15 seconds during the trading session. Nikkei 225 futures introduced at Singapore Exchange in 1986, the Osaka Security Exchange in 1988, Chicago Mercantile Exchange 1990 is now an internationally recognized future index. That is, this is the stock index of Tokyo Stock Exchange. Then another important index is Dow Jones. Dow Jones Industrial Average (DIA) or Dow Jones, simply the Dow, is a stock market index that measures the stock performance of 30 large companies listed on stock exchange in US. It is also a US stock market index. Although it is one of the most commonly followed equity index, many consider the Dow to be an inadequate representation of the overall US stock market compared to the broader market indexes such as the S&P 500 index or Russell 3000 because it only includes 30 large companies. It is not weighted by market capitalization and doesn't use the weighted arithmetic mean. The value of index is the sum of the stock price of the companies included in the list and divided by a factor which is currently, as of September 20, approximately 0. That is, they add up the total value and divide it by a fraction 0.152. The factor is changed whenever a constant company undergoes a stock split so that the value of the index is unaffected by the stock split. The first calculated on May 26, 1896, the index is the second oldest among the US market index. It was created by Charles Dow, the editor of the Wall Street Journal and the co-founder of Jones and Company, and named after him and his business associate statistician Edward Jones. That is, this was founded by Dow, and John is the Business Statistician Association as well as statistician. The word industrial is the name of the index no longer reflect the composition. Several of the constant companies operates in sectors of the economy other than heavy industry. The index is maintained by S&P Dow Jones Indices, an entity majority owned by the S&P Global. The compositions are selected by a committee. The 10 components with the largest dividend yield are commonly referred to as the dogs of Dow. As with all the stock prices, the prices of the constant stocks and consequently the value of the index itself are affected by the performance of the respective companies as well as the macroeconomic factors. That is, next important one is the Financial Times Stock Exchange 100 Index, FTSE Index. Also called FTSE 100 Index, FTSE 100 or FTSE or informally as FTSE. Is a share index of the 100 companies by the capital value listed on the London Stock Exchange with the highest market capitalization. That is, this is an index of the 100 companies. It is seen as a gauge of prosperity for business regulated by the UK company law. The index is maintained by the FTSE Group, a subsidiary of the London Stock Exchange Group. The index is maintained by the FTSE Groups, a now wholly owned subsidiary of London Stock Exchange, which originated as a joint venture between the Financial Times and London Stock Exchange. That is for the name Financial Times Stock Exchange. That is, it is a combination of Financial Times and London Stock Exchange. It is calculated in real time and published every second when the market opens. The FTSE 100 broadly consists of the largest 100 qualifying UK companies by full market value. The total market value on the company is calculated by multiplying the share prices of the company by the number of shares they have issued. This is the method for calculating the index. That is, they calculate by multiplying the share price of the company by the total number of the shares issued. Then many of these are internationally focused companies. However, so the index movements are a fairly weak indicator of how the UK economy is facing and are significantly affected by the exchange rate of the pound. A better indication of the UK economy is the FTSE 250 index, as it constitute a smaller portion of the international companies. FTSE 100 companies represents about 81% of the entire market capitalization of London Stock Exchange. If there is a FTSE 250, it contains only a small portion. Even though the FTSE All Share Index is more comprehensive, FTSE 100 is by far the most widely issued UK stock market index. However, other related indices are the FTSE 250 index, then FTSE Fledgling Index, etc. FTSE as the share aggregate FTSE 100, FTSE 250 and FTSE Macmillan. Here, the stock indexes of India is given. The first index of India is the BSE Sensex or Sensex. BSE Sensex, also known as the S&P Bombay Stock Exchange Sensitive Index or simply Sensex, is a free float market weighted stock market index. Free float market weighted stock market index of 30 well established and financially sound companies listed on Bombay Stock Exchange. The 30 constituent companies, which are some of the largest and most active traded stocks, are representative of the various industry sectors of the Indian economy. Published since January 1st, 1986, the S&P BSE index is regarded as the pulse of the domestic stock market in India. BSE value of the Sensex was taken as 100 on 1st April 1979 and its base year is 78-79. On 25th July 2001, BSE launched the $30, a dollar-linked version of Sensex. $30 is the dollar-linked version of the Sensex. The normal trading time for the equity market is between 9:50 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Monday to Friday. The index is calculated based on a free float capitalization method, a variation of the market capitalization. That is, in BSE index, we follow the free float capitalization method. Instead of using a company's outstanding shares, it uses its floats. That is, shares that are readily available for trading. Free floating capital implies total capitalization less directors' shareholding. That is, total capital it's less the director shareholding is the free floated shares. As per the free floated capitalization methodology, the level of index at any point of time reflects the free float market value of 30 constant stock relative to the base period. The base period is 100. It was considered on 1st April 1979. The index has increased by over 25 times from June 1990 to the present. Using information from the April 1979 onwards, the long-run rate of return of S&P BSE Sensex index works out to be 18.6 per annum. Next one is Nifty. It is the Nifty 50 index is the National Stock Exchange of India's benchmark stock market index for Indian equity market. That is, this Nifty is the index of National Stock Exchange Market or NSE. Nifty is owned and managed by India's Index Service Products or IISL, India Index Service Products. The Nifty 50 covers 13 sectors of the economy and offers investment managers exposure to the Indian stock market in one portfolio. Nifty is a market indicator of NSE. It ideally is a collection of 50 stock but presented as 51 listed in it. It is also referred as Nifty 50 and CNX 50 by some, as it is owned. Then Nifty is also calculated through the free float market capitalization weighted. That is, like BSE, Nifty also follows the free float method. Just like Sensex, Nifty also follows a mathematical formula based to know the market capitalization. That is, the same formula is also used by the Nifty. It implies the equity capital with a price to derive the market capitalization. That is, it multiplies the equity capital with a price to derive the market capitalization. To determine the free float market capitalization, equity capital is multiplied by a price which is further multiplied by the index based factor. which is a factor for determining the number of shares available for trading freely in the market. The index is determined on a daily basis by taking into consideration the current market value divided by the base market capital and then multiplied by the base index value of 1000. This about the Nifty, that is, this is the index number of, this is the index of the National Stock Exchange. The Indian stock market index include benchmark index are BSE and Sensex, BSE index and the Nifty. Sectoral index includes BSE, Bankex, CNX, IIT, CNX, IT, market capitalization, base indices like BSE small cap and BSE mid cap, broad market indices like BSE 100 and BSE 500.